Okay, we're going to run the report again. Again, using SEO Optima, mainly just because I love this one because it's easy to understand. And we're going to go again for a charity, wwf.org.uk. And I'm doing this, and I will do it with another website, so you can start to make comparisons of the two. See where there are things where, for example, this website is quite an overall good rating, so you can see where there's still areas of potential improvement, and the other one that maybe not so good, but then you can do comparisons and you get a thorough understanding of how to run an SEO audit report, either for yourself, for your own website, for advice on someone else, or you just direct someone on what changes you may need and why you need them. And it just performs part of your overall SEO strategy. So today we're going to look at usability, and that's a -B. Now, I had a quick look at this earlier, so I might actually join it with the A+ performance section. Reason being is these two are typically quite connected together. Because usability could be, the mobile website is not loading quickly enough, and hence that could be a lower score, but it could be other things as well. So let's have a look. So usability typically means how it renders across different devices, how it helps with touch screens, those kind of things. And performance is the page load of the speed of the page and how fast it loads. But sometimes those different elements go across the two sections, and you'll see why. Okay. Usability, that's it, a -B. Now I looked at this, and this is one where I might go, hang on, is this correct? And you'll see why I'm not 100% sure. Now, they show and display an example. So this checks the visual, visually demonstrates how your page renders on different devices. This is important. The page is optimized on mobile and tablet. Now, definitely check this, but check this independently on different devices, because they're getting a good rating for how the images are resized, but it's showing in their image that the text might not be. Don't know if you can see that. See, look, this season of Goodwill is the perfect, I don't know, I guess time. And then here as well. And also with a header, top tips for sustainable Christmas. This isn't too bad, this one on the bigger device, but it's quite a generic check. So look across your own major devices. And if it was I would look over your Apple devices, your Samsung devices. There's lots of different Android devices out there, but just try and go something like on screen sizes and get the mass majority if you can, unless you have a specific audience that uses specific screen type, then focus on how it might render on that. And you can use web content management systems now these days to show you a generic how it might feel on mobile, but basically go around and ask friends and people. That's the best test to do for a live site, just because different operating systems can change so much. You can get software as well, actually, out there to test it on these different things, but with Androids, I don't know if you know, the algorithms in the operating system changes quite regularly across the whole range of different devices. So Androids are like your Samsungs, your Googles, or the other ones, can't think of the top of my head, but anything that's not an iPhone, basically, or a BlackBerry. But I'm not sure how many people have BlackBerry now. So yes, you can get software to test across these different things, but it has to be updated so much because it changes all the time. So I would be a bit iffy about doing that. And I never actually even deployed it when I worked for a big agency, because I was like, I couldn't see the value. If I was very honest, it's much better to get testers and different people visually looking at it. Or a good approach you could do is use like a Fiverr service or something like that, where there might be costs at lower price point with people with different devices. You never know, or providing that service to manually do it. Right, I digress. So in essence, this does not look too good, but test it yourself. Don't take the report as the ultimate truth. What is it? I can't talk today. Then it looks at the vitals. So it uses these reports pausing for Google, and Google is the number one search engine. Yes, there are others, and there's things like Bing, but Google, I think, has about 80 to 90% of the search traffic. So I'm always going to go there first. Honestly, I don't really check Bing. Maybe I should do, and that's a naughty of me, but I would check Google. So Google Web Vitals, it's saying it's not too bad. When it's all in the green, that's pretty good, right? But ideally this will be under 2 seconds. What this is really just trying to say is your largest section, the first part that gets delivered to a page, for it to be a readable or classed as a readable page straight away. And they're saying, oh, that takes 2 seconds. It might not. If you count it yourself, you'll probably find it's lower. And I'll explain why it might be lower than what they give you here. This is just telling you use of mobile viewpoints, that you're actually informing the system in the back end that they can adjust to different mobiles. Most web content management systems do that now. They do it for you naturally. But they're saying the Google Speed Insight is not great. So this is where I'm saying, look, performance gets interjected to usability, because this is in the usability section. Yeah, it's talking about performance. So that's why I want to go and have a look at the performance section too and see if we can shed some light on this, because it's saying, hey, it's not really good for mobiles. But read this. Google indicates that your page is scoring poorly on mobile page speed evaluation. Okay, fair enough. It is 36 out of 100. Not great. You're in red. Note, this is the evaluations being performed from US servers, and the results may differ from an evaluation carried out from Google's PageSpeed web interface that has reporting localized in the region in which you are running the report. So this is a UK site, I would assume, or they have some form of UK server or hosting, or what's called like a content management system that hosts the information more local to the area that you typically would search. So because it's for the UK, you typically would want a UK server. So this is an instance where these results may be skewed. And I would go into Google Page Speed and have a look what that has. It's a free service as well. And just start going through that. Maybe this indicates I need to do another course on the Google Page Speed Insights, because it does actually have an influencing factor on your SEO. However, the port results here may actually be skewed because it ran it from an USA server. So what that means is it's checking the results in USA. However, people are typically going to search in the UK where the server might be, so your hosting environment. In other words, it potentially be faster because it's in the same location as where people are searching. So the results may be significantly different. But shall I talk through and see if I can give you some context? Let's see the value. All these different elements are very techy, right? You would just not want these going over 2, and a lot of them are. That time to interface, they're saying 13 seconds. This could be because they are testing it against a USA server, so it could have significant skewed results, but unfairly in this instance. So you would need to go into Google Page, like it's Google Page Insights, I think. Let's have a Google Page Speed. That's it. Page speed. I'm trying to remember how we get to it for a particular page. It's typical. When you don't there, is it Page Insights? And you can actually type in the URL and use the device there. And I might actually do a separate course on that, as to not confuse this at the moment. Okay, reduce, all this is quite techy. Reduce CSS, this is some technical things of where elements are, but not less than 1 second is pretty good. This is one's quite hard, time to interact. What this is really just saying is the page is not really usable quickly enough, not usable from a human's perspective quickly enough. It has a nice note to say that the page speed is significantly helps with SEO rankings, and it does. However, be very mindful that you're doing the right type of check. So in this case, you'd want to do a page speed check, but you'd want to do it in the area that your servers are or where people are searching. That is a big tip, actually. If most of your audience is in the UK, you'd want servers in the UK. If most of your audience in the US, you want servers in the US, or at least a form of enabling, of giving them that content, which is called a content management system in that area. Right, again, they're saying desktop's not great, but again, because I think it's running from the USA. They haven't used flash scripts, an old school thing that us marketeers used to use several years back. I lost track now. It used to just make it look really funky and really cool, and it looked like moving images, but guess what? The technology is not great for SEO, so it got outstripped ages ago. So old school sites might still have this. Iframes used, again, it's an outdated technology where it's the ability to see a window within a window. If you've ever seen YouTube played on someone else's website, which isn't YouTube, that's the kind of thing. However, you just use more up-to-date language to connect to that. So it's like a window within a window. And all they're saying is iframe is an outdated form of referencing it, but they're not using it, so it's all good. Fav icon. This is if they had a picture up here at the top, like sometimes, there it is. Sorry, a picture up here. SEO. So you see they've got the nice little logo bit there. I'm not thinking today, am I? Or page speed one that's got a nice little logo there. That's your fav icon. Email privacy, that's good. That means that anyone that puts an email address in there is not clear text, and it's protected in a certain form of way. So as you can see, look, robots don't go and crawl this information. Now, if you've ever bought lists, which is never a good habit, sometimes this potentially could have been where they've been bought and where they've been bad habits, and the data and the email addresses aren't protected when you enter them. Right, this is they've got an X on, but I looked at this, like all this page, always look down here. It's saying that some of the images on the page, and they will downgrade you for this, are not legible for different people. So say if you're visually impaired, it's probably too small. Or even people with me that I now realise my age, I have to squint a lot. This is the size of the font, which is quite small. But just look at some of the images. So this one is on this site footer. And it's about the copyright. They're saying that the copyright text is probably too small. In this case, just go and have a look on what they're referring to and see if it makes a difference to change it. I don't think, personally, because it is elements in the footer, and it's thinking about a trust banner, like whether you've got the trust icon, those kind of things, and copyright image. I'm not sure how much value it will be to change these from a user perspective. So I'm not sure I would change this, but have a look. And when there are images that are not just kind of like the footer or copyright, then it's maybe worth changing. But in this instance, I potentially wouldn't. Then tap target sizing. All this just means is, does your images change based on if you were using like a touch screen, like an iPad or an iPhone? In this case, they do. So clever them. And lots of web content management systems enable that as well now. So let's have a quick look at the performance and see how this might be connected. So usability, they got to kind of know. So it might be that text wrapping thing that was such a big thing, but I'm kind of thinking, would it be? So test it and see. Kind of bad Google load page speed. I can't speak today. And I think that's probably the issue that they're saying. However, look, the performance is really good. So I really do think that that is a misdirection on the page load speeds because it was run in a USA server environment, because their overall performance is good. So this is another check you can do when you get something like that. And look, all in the green. All in the green, all in the green. This just means your server says, yes, you're great. This just means the page content loads quickly, and all the scripts, so the techie thing in the background loads really quickly as well. Download page speed. This just means how quickly does the page display on your people that are looking for your website and see it, how quickly does it display on their screen, their laptop. And these are the type of elements that your page is broken up into. So code is your HTML, CSS are cascaded style sheets. You've got JavaScript on there, which is some coding styling, images, and some other elements. This is all really techy. There's not a lot that you need to know on there, apart from if there's things where it goes, actually, this isn't great now, like it's loading really slowly. You might want to look and see, well, if it's loading really slowly, are these compressed, right? Does this have a high level of compression? So images 0% compressed. Now, I might look at that, to be honest, but that might be because they were optimized before they were loaded up. But I might have a look at that because that could increase some speed performance. But I'll ask my techies to look at that. And then I'll try and understand what the other elements are. Some of these can't be compressed, or another term called minimized. And all it does is just make it go to the smaller form so it loads fast. Because if you think with images, they might already optimize. And what this means is that they're fine for web view, and they're a smaller file size that you've optimized it good for web view. But if you ever wanted to print it, because it's a smaller image, it wouldn't look great. So when we design images, we normally design them with print, and then we'd reduce them down to go onto a website. Reason being, you just don't need them as high quality because you're not printing them out on paper or canvas or anything like that, or they're not being a big ban ad or anything like that, ban ad for marketing. Number of resources, this is elements of what they have. It's the breakdown of their site. So different objects, how many HTML pages, number of JavaScripts running, number of cascading style sheets, number of images, other resources. All of this is more techy, and it's only connected if you have page issues, I say, or performance issues. Carry on, Google Accelerated Page. This is if you have a mobile, there's an indicator whether it is, and Google likes you when you indicate that, and they're doing that, so that's good. Yeah, it's basically saying all good. Well, it's saying for the Chronicle tags it's good, but this, I'm a bit of a hit and miss whether I like this, if I'm honest, because it can display with have an issue with your display. So web content management systems enables you to optimize your websites. A lot of it now automatically does it. Google has another thing called Accelerated for mobile devices, but you have to tag it, enable a version. So think of the whole website and then a whole new version for your accelerated pages. Now, it can actually strip away a lot of functionality and niceties of a page that I personally don't use it, because it feels like have you ever had, do you remember the function rich phones where you just have the most basic layout as possible? It becomes like that. You've lost all your nice elements of it. And I think that it's much better to have a rich mobile experience, because nearly everyone's on a website now, but just to make sure that you have enough performance in the back end to assure you've got the speed there. So I actually wouldn't target AMP, just because I think it's something that's outdated. It doesn't give a visual rich experience. When would I use it? Maybe if I had elements that just were like a must-have functionality, maybe a basic form or something like that. I typically won't use it myself now. So open to any suggestions of people who have used it and what they think. But when I've used it in the past, it just stripped away all the usability and the niceties of something that it was just a real basic form type page. And I didn't like it. And I've not seen or heard of it making significant impacts on SEO, but feel free if anyone's got a different opinion. JavaScript errors, there wasn't any, so that's good. That basically means the techie coding was all great. This HTTP2 also helps performance, and they've got a big tick. Again, this is where I think there's an issue where it's been run in the USA, because they've got all the right performance things in here. This is just a way of performance being better. So things can run asynchronously rather than having to wait for things to run. So they run in parallel. Is that the correct thing? God, I have to check my terminology. They don't have to wait for one thing to run before another does. So they can run all at the same time, like together. I think that's the right word. And it's just a certain protocol to enable this to make it speedier and more efficient. Optimize images, that they have done it. So, when I sit up here, they probably optimized the images already, but they're saying zero compressed. That's because they did it before it's uploaded. These are sometimes things you have to watch on this audit report, because they can contradict each other. But hopefully this is giving you enough insight so you are going to be a pro and a complete understanding. They have minification. So that just means when there is script to run, it's reduced down to the smallest kind of size that it runs efficiently and smoothly. Your techies will help with that. There's different tools to enable it, and different environments that help you with that, especially things like HTTP2 protocol. Inline styles. Now, this is a no-no, but I looked at this earlier, and I haven't really done much. I've realized I've missed depreciated HTML. Don't worry, this depreciated HTML is just basically out-of-date code. They don't have any. And when it says out of date, a lot of these codes still run. It's just there's better versions of it, okay? Inline styles normally means they've gone to like a page and decided that to override like a global brand style guide. And they've gone, actually, I just want this word bolded, or I want this word underlined. Now here, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to help. You'd have to look at it. So they're saying display non-visible hidden. Basically, there's an element that there's probably a hidden GIF for tracking. There's a background image, and they've got a height piece here. This is all a bit techy. You'd have to look at their pages and see if there's any improvements to make. But because this isn't a big list, I would think this will make minimal improvements to your SEO, unless you're loading this image up on every single website. But as you can see, it says page 596. You'd have to go and search where this is in terms of the line code. So what this means, above a page, each page is like a line, which counts as number one. The next line will be number two. So on line 596, this background image that is referenced, they're saying that they've put a specific style and it's on the page. So just have a look, ask your techie to look at that and say, what is it? Is it any worth changing it? Is there any benefit? If they had this on every single page on the website, then it might be worth changing it. But just this one? Nope. Okay, I will stop that for now. I got a bit techie, but I wanted to give you some perspective of how the different sections of the report can interact with each other, but also as well how you can query the report yourself, so you're not just taking the status quo of what it says, to get a better understanding of whether actually any changes will help you or not and what to look at. So I hope that helped. I'll be going through this section again using the other charity, the Donkey Sanctuary charity, and we'll see that there's some areas that they definitely can make some improvements.